Hi, everybody. Strider Raven checking in. Wanted to do a little rant today, get some things off my chest. Obviously, things are heating up in the world. Looks like war is imminent in the Middle East, and I wanted to cover a lot of topics, primarily about this alliance of nations that supposedly supposed to bring peace and this golden age and the Sargassar and all this world without war. And I noticed with this Ukraine Russia thing, we were all polarized, and I was siding with Russia all the way. And the other day I was listening at this UN Emergency Council meeting, and Russian Federation defends Iran as a sovereign nation. And I finally got triggered, and I said, I'm going to make a video and just, I know President Trump doesn't take my advice, but I think it's time America left the Alliance of Nations. The stony silence from the El Akbar nations that are supposedly our allies speaks volumes, and with all the carnage that took place in Iran, and just crickets from the religion of peace. A friend of mine said, I bet they never saw this one coming. Well, I did. I knew this was coming with Iran. And I've said this before, this should have been dealt with a long time ago, and it's not a nation to ever be trusted, this religion of the crescent moon. And, I put up with a lot on this last 8-9 years that we all did. Didn't mind being snubbed by the underground news. Waited years for a JJ reveal, which never happened, and we got a JD Vance in a mask, and that's fine. I put up with all the good, the bad, and the indifferent, but watching the Dems and the left resist and fight. I go for a walk and I see signs, anti-Trump signs everywhere in my neighborhood, my town, and I've stood by kind of quietly over the years, just the silent minority, I guess, in this case. But I was noticing there was this event with this young lady, a freedom fighter, occurred in, I believe it was Aleppo, but I could be wrong. And she fought by herself to the end and saved the last bullet for herself. And then the ISIS Syrian fighters burned her body and pitched it over a balcony. And I wanted to show her photograph. It's Saeed Amara. I hope I got her name right. And this was probably a 14-year-old girl standing up to ISIS. And this Jelani, the president of Syria, I don't trust him as far as I could throw him, but what we're seeing is President Trump's allies sort of turned tail and ran. And I'm calling on President Trump to take America out of this alliance of nations and align with those Christian nations that stand up for the values that we uphold in this country. America's a standalone document, and George Washington's vision was clear. America will ultimately be a force of good in the world once we shake off our deep state cabal infiltration. And I look at these lunatics in Minnesota fighting against law and order, and just nothing but crickets and stony silence on the left when they're ignoring the carnage that's going on in Nigeria, Syria, Iran. And I think for me, what really ticked me off was these so-called allies in the Middle East all of a sudden said, no, we don't want to be part of this. That's not a New World Order I want to be part of. I don't want to be part of an alliance that favors their own religion. Ours is Christianity, and this is what we believe. This is what we defend and we stand up for in our Constitution. And I'm rooting for the Persians all the way. And I no longer I don't want to hear any more about Russia. I hope Ukraine kicks them back to the Stone Age. For all I care now, it doesn't really bother me. And like a lot of people, I started questioning Israel, and their corrupt government. But I'm watching them. They're making videos in their country, and they're willing to put up with any hardship to defend their brethren in the Persians in Iran. And that's the side that I'm going to take. And I know there's corruption in every government. President Trump has to put up with his. Putin's got to put up with his. Everyone's got to put up with it. But listening to the Russian Federation run their mouth at the UN was kind of the last straw for me, and that's what motivated me to make this video. And I don't think America should be making allies with the Allah Akbar people. I don't feel good about it. I haven't felt good about it from day one. I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea. Sure, they united at first to deal with the tunnel situation and the God knows what was going on there, and I believe they've dealt with a lot of that, if not most of it. But when the chips are down, everyone's going to side with their own religion, first and foremost. And so that's why I'm making this video, to say that I think America should pull out of the Alliance of Nations, say adios. We've had enough. We're going to align with the Christian nations that want nothing to do with Sharia law and all that Allah Akbar mess that's infiltrating it all through America now. And we're going to have to deal with it on this soil. But I want to say that this young lady and plenty of others, thousands, I could show thousands of photographs, and I've been reposting these on X. I would love to meet some women in Winston-Salem that have 1% of the courage that this young lady did, that she had. And I'm reading and looking at the photographs of the people in Iran. I couldn't believe their parents begged them not to go out, and they said, if we don't go, we've got no future. But my real message, and I hope Donald Trump hears this, that I think it's time to pull out of the Alliance of Nations and align with those that defend our Christian values, 100%. And those that were silent during this issue, there's the litmus test for me. And so with that, I'll end this video and say, God bless our troops. I think they're going to give the religion of peace a what for, long overdue. And we aren't going to apologize for it this time. And if I were in charge, and if they let me, because they won't let me on their team because I guess they're worried about my safety. But this garbage would never have gotten to this point if I was on the team. I would have seen this a mile away. And so I want to say I'm standing with the Persians, and anyone that ignores the whole issue, they're not our allies anymore. They're not our friends. And so this was the issue to me, that's the divide. This is where President Trump can now say, I know who my true friends are. And I like to think I'm one of them, but I'm not going to stay silent anymore. And I'm going to stick with Israel and America and any Christian nation. Uh, Liberia spoke in favor of what the Persians. There are a few people in the UN that did, uh, you know, they were defending the Persians, and they were bringing the atrocities to light. But my real thoughts for the day are, uh, I don't mind. It was kind of a feather in my cap. It was being snubbed by the Underground News for 8 years. I think that was kind of like a Purple Heart, so to speak. But I just wish that uh, we'd get in there and do something quickly. And I believe I'm seeing a lot of troop movement. Diego Garcia, a lot of troop movements. We've got a general, and our U.S. soldiers are now, I believe, in the Aleppo area. And I think the big one's coming. But to me, the biggest shock of all was watching our so-called allies in the Middle East and Russia just blow it off, say like, "Oh, it's all good. They're a sovereign nation. It's their business." That to me is the test that says we don't want them as friends anymore. America is a standalone document. We're a Christian nation. We have the best constitution on earth, and we're gonna, from this point, align with those nations that uphold our values and want to have a piece of the pie that we believe in. And so, with that, I'll leave you. I'll leave you with this photograph of this young lady who can be a lesson to us all that uh, this is not going to be an easy journey. This is Satan's little season, and yes, we're all going to suffer. But to me, the real crime is the silence by our so-called allies. President Trump, he's got a list, and he knows who's been naughty and nice, and I promise you, he won't forget it. And so, with that in mind, God bless. Let's watch the events unfold. I think it's going to be a very exciting week coming up. The carrier group, Abraham Lincoln is on the way. George Bush carrier group is on the way. I believe there's a third carrier group. And from all indications, the big one's coming. And I hope they pummel the mullahs back to the Stone Age. And as far as I'm concerned, I have no more positive, defensive, good things to say about Russia or our buddies in the Middle East that were so-called friends. And with that, I'll let you go. Have a great weekend, and love to hear your comments. Yes, this could get me kicked off YouTube. I could lose a lot of friends, but this is where I'm coming from. This is what I believe, and I'm standing with the Persians 100%, and I'm willing to do whatever I can. I'm reposting on X. Strider Raven is on X. I've given up on Facebook because of all the garbage there. It's just a mess. So drop your comments, let me know. I wish this could have been a comedy video, and we'll get back to that after all the dust settles. Have a great weekend. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.